Hello sailors, my name's Andy and this is my wife Misty. A few years ago we bought an old neglected sailboat for $3,500 and I've been working on it ever since. I literally learned how to sail on YouTube, but later we both took some lessons. I used to think that sailing was only for rich people. It's not. I used to also think that you had to sail around the world to have fun. You don't. Click subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and join us, and we'll show you how much fun you can have coastal cruising on a cheap sailboat. Welcome to Sailing Soleil. Hello, welcome to Sailing Soleil. My name's Andy, and today I got a little bit of a different video for you. I haven't been doing a ton of sailing, but I have some sailing coming up. But today I wanted to make a quick video about 10 or so gadgets that I will take offshore with me on a big trip that I have coming up. Stick around to the end of the video and I will tell you my big announcement of where I'm going and how long I'll be out there. Okay, I will try to put links down in the description of all these products if you're interested. You get most of them on Amazon. So I'm just going to grab one of them and tell you what it is. This here is a marlin spike, and you use this to get out stubborn knots out of lines and ropes. This one's kind of cool because it has a little pliers that that's on there, and then also right here is let's see, is a serrated knife for cutting lines. So marlin spike. Now obviously you want to have a tether. I like to bring my own tether just because I like my tether. I found this one. Now this tether, you can find the exact same tether at West Marine for around 125 bucks or something like that. I found this tether. It's made by Kong. I found that tether on Amazon. I think it was like 65 bucks or something. I might be wrong, but it's a tether. So this is really nice to have. Obviously what you do with this is you clip yourself in. You have to use it at night. You have to use it when you go forward to do something, or if in rough seas everybody's clipped in. But this is for safety, keeps you from falling off the boat. Okay, and a couple of just quick, easy ones real quick. These are motion sickness patches. I've never used them. But I've noticed that, like in some rolly seas, I start feeling a little queasy. It's happened a few times. I had really good luck on the East Coast Passage where I didn't really get seasick at all, but I'm still going to bring them. I found these on Amazon. There's 64 of them, and it was like $8 plus tax. The pack for like 30 of them was like $7 plus tax, and so I just bought 64 as a bunch. And then Dramamine. I'm going to take some Dramamine with me. Okay, something that's not very normal. I'm not sure if I'm going to take this or not, but it is a phone holder. So I could clip it on a rail, and I can, it's kind of nice at night when you're on watch to be able to have your phone, if, in front of you. You don't have to hold it. It's always visible. So I like to have my own little phone holder. I can also attach it in the cabin if I wanted to watch a movie or something like that, but kind of nice to have, just a little convenience. Okay, you want to have a headlamp. And it's best if your headlamp, it's best if your headlamp has red. I got to kind of cycle through the lights to get it on red, but now, oh, no, won't do it. Anyway, you want a red headlamp and a regular headlamp. I like this one because it has a flood on the side and the bottom, so it's like, those are like floodlights, and then these are spotlights. And then you cycle through them and you can get to the red light. And the red light's really useful when at nighttime, obviously, when you're on watch, or if you have to do anything, at night. But you need a red light. And and this one, it's just a Home Depot one. It's just a Husky, and it is, it's rechargeable. I like the rechargeable ones. Anything I get that takes batteries, I like to try to make it rechargeable. All right. Next up, let's talk about communication, comms. I've got a couple of things here for comms, and another thing I'm probably going to bring is my handheld VHF, which I didn't even think about until right now. But I'll probably bring my handheld VHF also. I like to have my own with me. It's pretty small. It's not going to take up a lot of room to take, and it's really nice to have an extra handheld VHF, just so that you can communicate with the boat when you're on shore or on the dinghy, whatever. But a handheld VHF, again, rechargeable. So we'll put that over there. Next comm that I will definitely be taking is my Garmin InReach. I have the InReach Mini 2, and it's got this little foam little thing on there. I don't leave the service plan connected when I don't need it, so I disconnect the service, and then when I go out, I just buy a plan. It's like 30 bucks. You get like 150 text messages and weather forecasts and unlimited check-ins, and your family and friends can watch you on the tracker and see where you're at. So Garmin InReach, really nice. It's a communicator. Should you ever need it, you'll be able to send text messages, and it also can give your location as to where you're at. Another thing I didn't mention about the Garmin InReach that's really cool is you can get weather reports on it in the app, in the Garmin app on your phone. Now, the weather reports that it gives you are similar to the reports that you would get on your phone, like, you know, just when you open up the weather app. The Garmin app does have a selection for marine weather, which will tell you some wind speed, and I believe it will tell you some swell, maybe. I'm not sure about the swell, but definitely tells you wind speed, and it's very limited information, but it's kind of like the essentials that it will tell you. On the Garmin app that you use to communicate with the InReach, it does have weather, and you can select marine and get some weather reports with this. Pretty cool. Okay, next one is the Iridium Go. Now, I'm not sure if I'm gonna take my Iridium Go, because the boat I'm going on has one. Now, this is a piece of satellite communication hardware that I recommend any boat that's going offshore have. You know, it's different than Starlink. It's much slower, but it's different. Do your research on it. I'm not going to go into an Iridium Go and Starlink comparison right now, but Iridium Go, it's basically a satellite communicator. It'll give us weather forecasts. We can download grid files for weather. We can send text messages, and we can actually have voice calls from this. We can make and connect with voice telephone calls with this. So the service plan on these are pretty expensive. Again, one of those things that you're not going to keep up. You know, you're not going to keep the service plan going until you actually need it. I have 8 SIM cards. That's kind of overkill, but I have 8 SIM cards. I think when I bought my SIM cards, I bought 4 SIM cards from PredictWind, and when I bought my data hub, and they sent me the same order twice. Not 2 data hubs, but they sent me 2 sets of SIM cards. So I have 8 SIM cards to be activated. I have not yet activated any of them. When I'm on this passage, if we start using the Iridium Go, I want to do a little tutorial on it, just so that you can kind of see how it works, because I really don't know how it works either that much. I'm pretty sure you have to have an app and stuff like that, but I think we will be using Iridium Go at one point, because we'll be too far offshore for Starlink. But Iridium Go, really, really good piece of hardware. Now, I got my Iridium Go off of eBay. It was used. I paid like 700 bucks for it. I think you can get the basic package for around $795, something like that, for the Iridium Go. But this particular package that I bought, it had an external antenna, had a bunch of accessories that are pretty expensive that came with it. But I bought mine used. So, Iridium Go. Okay. While we're talking about comms, I will talk about the ACR PLB, Personal Locator Beacon. This will be mounted on my my PFD, my personal flotation device, and it won't leave that. Should I ever fall off the boat, or should we ever get into an emergency situation, I will activate it, and it will send a emergency signal, and it will continue to have a beacon to where I could be located. And it's a satellite signal, and it notifies all the emergency services that there has been a serious emergency, and to come and pick me up. This is not a communication device. It is just a beacon saying, Mayday, Mayday, come get me. So when you activate this, you better really be in trouble. But when you are in trouble, these are really good to have. A lot of people confuse, oops, I guess this is on here. They confuse this. This is not a PLB. This is not a personal locating beacon. This is just a strobe light. That's it. So when you get them, if you see them and they're like, oh, this is 40 bucks or 30 bucks, 50 bucks, that's probably not a PLB. You know, these PLBs are very expensive. I think on Amazon, I think $375 for this one little personal locating beacon. Now, what I do with my bigger passages is, you know, I try to buy one thing so that I keep my costs down. It would be really expensive if I went out and bought my PLB, I went out and bought my Garmin InReach, and an Iridium Go, you know, for a single passage. That's close to $2,000 for all that stuff, you know. So I haven't had that. This is the first time I have this. So on this passage, this was the trip that I'm taking where I figured I'd bite the bullet and buy the PLB. Last one when I went to the East Coast is when I bought the Garmin InReach. But anyways, this is another one that I will be taking with me, is just the strobe light. You know, and that stays again with you pretty much at all times. Another little one, which is super small. A lot of PFDs have them, but have a whistle. You know, you want to have a whistle. If you don't have a whistle already, buy a whistle. They're super cheap. Buy a whistle and connect it to your life jacket, your preserver. Now, I'm not going to bring my own PFD because the boat that we're going on has PFDs for us. That way I don't have to travel with it and just more stuff to bring. But last thing that I want to talk about is this, and this is probably a little bit of overkill too, maybe, but I saw it and it just kind of seemed like, oh, why not have it? It wasn't that expensive. But these are die makers. So should you get in trouble and you are being, you know, you have used your PLB and they're there to pick you up, you deploy the die in the water and it'll make a big area for the rescue to see you and come and get you. So being that it wasn't that expensive, I figured, you know, why not just have it? So one thing also, I'm not sure about other PFDs, but this particular PFD, it has a pocket. It has a pocket right here, which is kind of nice. I bought a newer PFD from West Marine and it didn't have a pocket. And it was something I didn't really notice before I bought it. I was a little bummed out that it didn't have a pocket. So something to keep in mind, because you're gonna wanna have like your strobe and your whistle, maybe a protein bar or something like that, and keep it in your PFD at all times should you ever need it. Okay, just a couple little bonus ones. These are kind of silly, but I like to bring extra Velcro straps. You know, you never know when you need them, but I like having some extra Velcro straps, super small and super handy. Another thing is extra really good quality carabiners. I like to have some locking ones. These are 25 KN kilonewtons, so you could use these for rigging if you needed to in an emergency. But super handy to hang stuff off of your backpack, whatever, or just hang things in the cockpit when you're on watch. But I like to have some nice quality carabiners. Okay, so where am I going? The day after Thanksgiving, I'm leaving with Mark from Ensenada, and we're going to sail south to Cabo, hopefully Puerto Vallarta. We don't know how far we'll get, but I'm going for 2 weeks. So the morning after Thanksgiving, Mark and I will be going from Oceanside to the border. We will cross the border by foot, get on the ABC bus down to Ensenada, start doing paperwork, and I believe Killdragger will be on the hard at that point. Then they'll launch Killdragger some point through the day, and I'm not sure if we're leaving that day or the next day. Okay, if you don't follow Mark on Killdragger Sailing, I'll put a link right here for you to follow him. He's got a bunch of good stuff. He's a really good dude. He's a great sailor. He's got a beautiful boat, super capable, and this is the first leg of a big journey that he just recently launched. So if you don't follow Mark, you need to follow him, because he's about to embark on a pretty big Pacific adventure, going out to the French Polynesia and everything else. I'm hoping that I can persuade him to stay long enough to wait for me to go to French Polynesia, but he wants to leave sooner than a date I'm able to leave. Anyways, that's the big news. I'm going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico at least, but hopefully we'll get even further to Puerto Vallarta. It's all going to depend on weather, and of course I'll be bringing it all to you with videos and all that good stuff. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time, and take it easy. Cheers.